human beings, all persons who reach adulthood in the world today, are programmed biocomputers. No one of us can escape our own nature as programmable entities. Literally, each of us may be our programs, nothing more, nothing less. Dr. John C. Lilly, discoverer of the Lilly wave. It is not a requirement, as is understood by the majority of science, to implant electrodes to cause the brain's water molecules to be entrained to a certain frequency. It can also be accomplished by any waveform that can penetrate the skull and then cause the entrainment of the brain's water molecules. The Lilly wave and cyclotronic warfare. Scene 1, time, the present. Location, New York City. Place, a coffee shop. 3 men are sitting at a table. Their names are Dave, Ralph, and Saul.
Everything stinks.
You're right.
Right about what?
That everything stinks.
You're not saying anything I haven't heard. What the hell is bothering you?
Everything.
That covers a lot of territory.
I'm not talking geography, I'm talking about life. My life.
We all have lives. It's just a question of how we live them.
Cut the cliches, I can do without the cliches. I'm being serious.
Nobody said you weren't.
That's right. I would never dismiss anything you say, even if I heard it a million times before.
This time I'm serious. I can't sleep at night.
That's normal. When you reach a certain age...
Stop, don't try to diagnose me.
I'm not trying to diagnose you. I'm not even a doctor.
Then stop talking like you're a doctor.
Saul does have a PhD.
Yeah, in English literature. How good that would do me.
That depends. If we wanted to learn about Keats and Shelley.
There's more to English literature than Keats and Shelley.
I know that. I was just trying to make a point.
I'm suffering and all you guys can do is talk poetry. Who cares about poetry?
Now don't go making remarks that you'll later regret.
At this stage of my life, I can say whatever I want without worrying about whose toes I step on.
I wonder where that term, stepping on toes, came from.
Oh, who cares? I've earned the right to say anything I please.
Of course you do. It's in the Constitution.
Now you're a lawyer. But if you don't quit talking to me like I'm a fool, I'm going to make you an astronaut. With my fists.
Holy cow! I never heard you talk this way before. What's gotten into you?
So much crap. So much ugliness. Everywhere I go, people are mean and vicious. The noise, the filth, the nastiness. I don't know if I can take much more of this.
Do not despair, my friend.
I can't help but feel despair. I'm old and nobody seems to care. I can live or die, it won't matter.
I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts myself. I can't quite put my finger on the cause, however.
Maybe you need to be preoccupied with some activity, you know, something creative.
Yeah, a diversion.
You mean I should take up a hobby?
You have the time, don't you? You're retired.
Maybe you shouldn't have retired.
Shouldn't have retired. I hated my job. I despised my boss. I detested my clients. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. The only thing that kept me from killing myself first was the thought that I would lose my pension. So I lived.
Luckily, I liked my job.
Your job stunk.
But the pay was good. I made a hell of a lot more money than you. And without having a college degree.
Not everybody is cut out to go to college.
Listen to you, such an elitist. Boy, are you stuck up.
Why do you say that? Just made a comment.
If you think you're something special because you're a college professor, well, let me assure you, you are not.
I never said I'm something special.
I think I know what's making me feel out of sorts.
I hope it isn't anything I said. He's the one that said your job stinks.
No, Dave said that to me 1,000 times before. It's something else.
Well, you go on and try figuring it out, and when you come up with something, keep it to yourself. Frankly, I don't give a darn.
That's mean.
Too bad.
I could have gone to college, but instead got drafted into the Army.
At least you served your country.
That's right. Did I ever thank you for your service?
I'll stop patronizing the guy, okay?
I'm not offended. Thanks mean nothing anyway. I didn't even want to go.
I was in the Boy Scouts.
That's not exactly the same as being in the Army.
How do you know? Were you in the Boy Scouts?
No, I wasn't.
Then keep your remarks to yourself. As a Boy Scout, I wore a uniform, had to salute and had to obey orders. So there.
Looks like we both served.
I beg to differ.
On what basis? You were never a Boy Scout, and Lord only knows you never served in the military.
How do you know that?
You're a professor. Professors don't do things like join the Boy Scouts or go into the military.
Now you're stereotyping me.
Stop stereotyping him, whatever that means.
No stereotype, it's true. While I was going to college, I did not know of one instructor who served in the military. Ah, my head.
Who are you to talk? You never served in the military either.
I did so.
That's news to me.
I never had the need to bring up the subject.
You were in the military too? What branch?
Army, just like you. Oh, this pain in my head.
Maybe you need to relax. Where were you stationed?
Upstate New York.
Where upstate?
You know, upstate. Look, you dropped the subject, my head hurts.
You brought it up.
You sure you were in the Army?
As sure as the day is long. Now, will you please drop the subject?
What you just said makes no sense whatsoever.
I took my basic training at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Where'd you take your basic training?
In Kentucky or Louisiana, somewhere around there. The pain. Please, guys, ask me about something else.
Stop your complaining. What was the name of the base?
I think it was Fort Belton.
You think? You don't know?
Hey, I said Fort Belton. My head is beginning to spin.
No need to try to bite my head off.
I don't want to bite your head off. I'm having enough problems with my own head.
You're not some kind of psycho, are you?
Hell no, I'm just so damn angry.
You said you were a vet, so go to the VA. Maybe they can look at you, x-ray your head, see if anything's in there. That's just a joke.
I went to the VA when I had pancreatitis. I got good care.
Who needs the VA? Just another bloated, uncaring bureaucracy.
That's what the news says. You can't believe everything you hear on the news.
So true. Sometimes I don't know if there's anyone I can really trust.
Trust whom?
I trusted my platoon sergeant. He was a good guy.
Where were you stationed?
Germany.
Germany? How come you weren't sent to Vietnam?
I don't know. That's where the Army ordered me to go, so I went.
I lived in Germany for a year.
I lived in New York City all my life.
Dave, what was your rank?
Rank?
Yeah, in the Army. You said you were in the Army?
I did?
Yes, you did. Don't you remember?
When did I bring that up?
Just a few minutes ago, you said you were stationed at Fort Belton, Kentucky.
Kentucky? I've been to Churchill Downs, if that's what you mean.
Dave, come on. Don't you remember what you said?
I do. You mentioned something about the Army, then I talked about New York City, then Saul started questioning me that, hey, why do you guys give me the third degree? What the hell do you want to know?
Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. You're grilling me like I'm some kind of criminal and I don't like it.
I've seen this before at the VA.
Thank goodness I wasn't in the Army.
Sounded like a true sugar.
I tried to enlist, but was rejected.
So that's why you became a professor?
Not exactly. It was a little more complicated than that.
How come you went to college and became a professor while I went to college and became a nobody?
You're not a nobody.
Yes, I am. I got a college degree and got a desk job pushing papers and dealing with people who wanted welfare while you became a big-time college professor. Probably came on to all the female students.
I did not, and I resent that statement.
Come on, tell the truth. How many girls did you lay?
Is that true? You use your job to meet girls?
Man is speaking rubbish.
When I was in college, I saw lots of pros coming on to the female students. I bet all those ladies got straight A's.
You have such a filthy mind.
Hey, I'm not passing judgment. I would have done the same too. Me? I struck out like crazy. Girls wouldn't give me the time of day.
With rank comes privileges. That's what we learned in the Army. Like in that movie From Here to Eternity, the senior NCO was screwing the captain's wife. Then she started pressuring him to become an officer.
I never misused my position to get over on anyone.
You expect us to believe that? You ever been married?
No.
Neither was I. What about you, Ralph?
I was married for 3 years, then my wife dumped me.
3 single guys. We had all the opportunity in the world to get laid. Oh, there's that pain again.
Just because I was single did not mean I went after female students.
Now you're insulting my intelligence. You had to do something to get Nuki, or maybe you swung the other way.
I had a girlfriend. We even talked about getting married.
But you didn't. It was all talk.
All talk, so what? You had all the ladies you wanted, so why confine yourself to one?
It was a little more serious than that.
You college professors really got it made. Man, I should have been a college professor. Instead, I had to work. Boy, did that suck.
Was that after you got out of the Army?
Don't bring up the Army again, okay?
We were just making conversation.
Why are you so touchy about that subject?
None of your business. I did what I did. You guys don't believe me. Everybody thinks I'm a liar.
I didn't say that.
But you meant it.
No, he did not.
Hey, speak for yourself, not for me, okay?
Now you're touchy too?
When you do that, I feel put down. Just because I'm a blue-collar guy doesn't mean I don't have a brain.
I never implied that.
That's the problem. All you intellectual types think you have it over on us working-class slobs, but we do the work. All you do is push papers.
I work too.
I don't think so. You may make a living, but what you do is not work. I worked.
That's telling, Ralphie boy.
And you shut your trap too. I'm beginning to get fed up with the two of you.
Then why don't you get up and leave?
I'll leave when I'm good and ready.
We came here to have a pleasant chat, so let's have a pleasant chat.
I thought that's what we were doing.
For you, yes. For me, I'm a little teed off that you were trying to pass yourself off as a vet. That's a pretty low thing to do.
I told you that I don't want to talk about it.
That's because you have nothing to talk about.
You are so wrong and so stupid.
Mister, you are angling for a knuckle sandwich.
You boys all right?
Yeah, we're fine. What about you?
I'm fine too, thanks for asking.
You know, I'm hungry.
What's your name, babe?
Emily, how about you?
I'm Dave, and my two pals here are Ralph and Saul.
Hiya.
Hello, young lady.
You guys ready to order?
I am. I'll have a cheeseburger deluxe and a cup of coffee, black.
What about you, Dave?
I'm still thinking.
Well, don't think too long. She can't be standing here all day.
Get off my case.
I'm not on your case.
My dear, maybe you should come back in a little while. We need a little more time.
Maybe I will.
Wait a minute, don't leave yet.
So, what'll you have?
I'll have the tuna fish sandwich on whole wheat bread, toasted on a side order of French fries.
Have you decided yet?
I'm still looking.
Come on, order already.
You get off my case. I said I'm still deciding.
I'll come back in a few minutes.
Now you see what you've done? You ruined it for me. All of a sudden, I got this buzzing sound in my head.
You okay?
I'm okay, it should pass.
Okay, but let's get one thing straight. I'm not ruining anything for you. You still haven't ordered. What are you waiting for?
I like taking my time when ordering food.
You are taking too much time.
What's the rush?
We waiting for you.
Since when do I have to follow your schedule?
We just wanted to order food and not give Emily a hard
Who
time.
cares about Emily?
Just because she's a waitress doesn't mean she shouldn't be treated nicely.
What's this? You have the hots for her?
No, I just don't want to give her a hard time, that's all.
You definitely do have the hots for her, right, Professor?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. I saw you leering at her rack. She has big ones. Remind you of one of your students?
You were seeing things.
No, I wasn't. I was looking directly at you. You couldn't take your eyes off her knobs. She noticed you staring.
She does have a nice figure.
You guys are such BS artists. I bet if the Price is Right showed you either one of you, or maybe both.
What about you?
What about me?
You like her too.
Of course I do. What do you take me for, a queer? There it goes again, that buzzing sound.
You have no chance with her.
Listen, Ralph, if I wanted to, I could always swing a date with that gal. She's easy pickings.
What the hell would she see in you?
You can never tell with women.
If I was a woman, I wouldn't give you the time of day.
You're just saying that. You'd be seeing a different tune if the price was right.
Now you're sounding like a
What
Jew.
the hell do the Jews have to do with anything?
I was just joking. No need to get so worked up.
No need to bring up Jews. Next thing you'll be telling me is that I'm Jewish, or gay, or a black man. Who cares? For all I know, you're some left-wing Jewish freak who wants me to join the cause. Well, I won't, you hear? So drop the subject. This hammering inside my head will not stop.
Why does everything always have to come down to a question of money?
Because everything has a price.
But there are some things in the world that are beyond price. Honor, integrity, truth. They're priceless.
Those are words, nothing more. As the saying goes, talk is cheap.
That's what my senior drill sergeant said in basic training.
I bet he was a real philosopher.
He was.
Did you feel that way when he was screaming at you, like Sergeant Foley did with Mayo,
He was doing his job.
by torturing you?
The Army tortures soldiers?
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I sure do know what I'm talking about.
Too bad you don't want to talk about it.
Who said that?
I thought you said you didn't want to talk about the Army.
I don't, but Ralph B. forced me to comment. The Army uses physical training as a form of torture. They did with me.
You're probably a washout. That's why you don't want to talk about it.
Think what you want. That goes for you too.
I didn't say anything.
The less you say, the better.
Now I have limit to what I say.
My, you are bossy.
I'm just letting you know how I feel about things.
You sound like my drill sergeant.
Yeah, Sergeant Dave.
Sometimes I wish I had experienced the military.
Don't sweat it. It was just a job.
No, it had to be more than just a job.
Maybe it was. All I know is that they paid me, which to me made it a job.
What I did for a living was a job, and I hated it. That's what made it a job, hating it.
I loved my job.
Of course you did. Easy work, great pay, fantastic fringe benefits.
It wasn't fun and games.
Reading all those term papers had to be really tough.
Sometimes it was.
I bet you never failed a student.
That bet you would have lost.
You actually flunked students? Weren't they paying to attend school?
Yes, they were. But that had nothing to do with whether they passed or failed.
That is, of course, if they were willing to do a little something extra on the side.
You know, you're really starting to annoy me.
Oh, did I offend you? I'm so sorry.
Dave, did something happen to you to get you in such a bad mood?
Let me tell you.
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
That's okay.
Now, are you ready to order?
To tell you the truth, I still haven't decided yet. Why don't you come back in a few minutes? I have this awful pain in my brain.
Look, I can't be going back and forth.
Well, I'm sorry if I upset you. What can I do to make it up?
I have no time for games. I have other tables to serve.
Wait a minute, doll, what's the rush? Why can't we be friends?
What kind of friends?
Good friends, or must I spell out what I mean?
Don't listen to him. He's all talk.
That's right, and right now I'm doing the talking, not you. Anyway, as I was saying, I think we can be friends.
He's actually a very friendly guy.
You don't seem too friendly.
Maybe after you get off from work, I can fill you in on the details.
But I don't know. I have to talk to my husband about that.
Oh, you married.
Yes, I am.
How sad.
What do you mean by that?
Please don't misunderstand. I'm very happy for you.
What he's trying to say is that he has the hots for you,
I never said that.
but you thought it. See, I can read minds.
Oh, a man of many talents.
I don't want to brag, but that's true. I am very talented. I keep getting loads of messages.
So that's quite interesting. Now, what is it you would like to order?
How about a little loving with a side order of cash?
My, you do have a dirty mind.
Not as dirty as his.
When do you get off from work?
At midnight?
Do you need anyone to escort you home?
No, my husband needs me.
Come on, are you really married? I don't see a ring on your finger.
Of course I'm married. Don't you believe me?
Of course I do. What woman would ever lie?
None, of course. It would be ungentlemanly to think otherwise.
You, I like.
Why, thank you, my dear. I like you too.
It looks like you've made a new friend.
So it has.
Don't you have to get back to work?
I'm still waiting to take your order.
Don't rush me. I'll have whole wheat toast with jelly and green tea.
My, you are a big spender.
I also leave big tips depending on the quality of the service.
You're about as smooth as sandpaper.
That's a good one.
Okay, you have my order. Now, if you don't mind, we'd like to continue our conversation, so get lost. Ouch!
My, you certainly are a forceful one.
Now I'm really pissed off at you. Are you trying to give me a hard time or what?
What did I do?
You showed me up in front of the day.
What are you talking about?
I did no such thing. I just paid her a compliment regarding her character. What's wrong with that?
You didn't mean it.
Cut the crap. You're pissed because you didn't say it first. Admit it.
No, that's not it.
Then what is it?
I don't know. Everything seems so jumbled in my head.
If you can't level with your friends, then with whom can you level?
Well stated, my boy, my dear boy. You are certain you never went to college?
Fooled you, right?
Well, it pleasantly surprised me.
You fooled me.
I can only fool one person at a time.
Ah, and the jokes are two. What other quirks of character are you concealing from us?
Nothing much.
May I check under your sleeves?
I thought you were going to say under his pants.
You know, Dave, in this world you can't always get your way.
Where's that coming from?
I have the distinct feeling that you are jealous that Emily likes me.
You can have her. She was only being polite anyway. She's angling for a bigger tip.
Nothing wrong with a lady being nice to a man.
I didn't say that anything was wrong with that. All I'm saying is that it's all an act. You're just another customer to her. And why do you keep aggravating me?
What's the problem?
There's something going on inside my head. I can't explain it.
Maybe you ought to see a doctor.
For what? So they can take a CAT scan of my head and then bill me?
What are you arguing about?
I don't know. He started it.
You know, Ralph, maybe you should change the subject.
He said his head was hurting, and I suggested he see a doctor? What's wrong with that?
Sometimes even the most innocent comments can be misinterpreted.
Stop with your game playing already. You guys started driving me nuts.
No, you're wrong. What's driving you nuts is that we're competing for attention from the same woman.
Get out of here. At this stage of my life, the last thing I need is a woman. My sex drive is gone. And you know when that started? After I bought my first cell phone.
Really? From the way you were talking, you sure seem pretty perked up to me.
Admit it, Dave. You're turned on to her.
And to a married woman, no less.
Do you honestly believe that she's married?
Sure, why not? Most women are married, so why not her?
I think you have your eye on her too.
Maybe I do. And if she's married, what do I care? Makes things much simpler.
Until you get caught.
But until then, they could have the experience much more exciting.
How do you know that?
From past experience.
So when you weren't swinging a crane, you were running around with married women?
I didn't make a habit of it, if that's what you're driving at.
Personally, I frown on screwing around with another man's wife. Even when you're in, you're still on the outs.
Pussy is pussy, okay? There's no right or wrong when it comes to getting laid. I want to get laid, but to tell you the truth, it's hard for me to concentrate on this subject. Lately, I've had other things to worry about. Oh, there goes my head again.
Take an aspirin. Now, what other things have you been thinking about?
Yes, Dave, what other things?
Things. Not the stupid crap you guys are talking about. Let's go on to something else.
Dave. Could you please stop the melodramatics?
You're really making me feel like a jerk. Get off my case, will you? You're nothing but a dirty-minded pervert. As a professor, you never came on with any of your female women students?
That is correct.
Were you at least tempted?
I have to admit that at times I was.
How often? Every 5 minutes?
No, but every so often I would take note of one of my students, but nothing more than that.
You never asked them to meet you after class? You know, for a conference?
Sure I did that, but only to discuss homework assignments and similar business.
You dirty, filthy, lecherous... What the hell am I saying? I have to hand it to you, Professor. You're a better man than me.
You mean that I?
Ha! You are amazing, my good friend.
Me, I, what's the difference?
The difference is I is a subjective pronoun, while me is an objective pronoun. Didn't they teach you grammar in college?
Why are you getting on my case? So I used the wrong pronoun. So what? Stop your damn nitpicking. Ah, can't stand it. The pain won't go away.
Dave, when you use the wrong pronoun, it can ruin the entire sentence and cause confusion. And there's already enough confusion in the world. Don't add to it.
You guys make it sound like I committed a capital offense. What are you guys trying to do to me? Make my headache worse?
Improve your speech.
You know, in the Army, I had a buddy of mine who could not put together a coherent sentence longer than 6 words. Yet, they made him company clerk. And he did a great job, just as long as he kept his mouth shut.
And something could be said about keeping one's mouth shut.
That's dumb. People are meant to talk.
That's true.
That's why we have mouths.
That's right, to communicate. That's why we have cell phones.
Because of my cell phone, I'm all wired up. Like a computer. It's unnatural. Oh, my head!
No, the cell phone is just a device.
No, it's not. It's much more than that. It is the tool of the devil. It is an instrument of torture. It is a symbol of everything I detest about modern life.
I think you're exaggerating a bit.
No, I'm not. My cell phone tells me when to go to sleep and when to wake up. It never stops. It drills messages through my skull.
Dave, just to change the topic, how did you like serving in the Army?
I told you not to mention that subject, so please don't. I don't want to talk about it.
Most guys I know love talking about their military service.
Well, I'm not most guys. I'm me. Let's leave it at that.
Dave, what's really bothering you?
Yeah, it's like you got a pipe jammed up your butt and you can't get it out. Everything we say irritates you. There's got to be something going on. So what is it?
Haven't you been listening? I think my cell phone is out to kill me. Let me tell you why. I had this cell phone. It broke, so I called my service provider, and they told me that I was covered under their service protection plan and that they could send me a replacement phone and transfer all my data to my new phone, which they call the device. Okay, so far so good. They mailed me the device, then came the problems. First, how to turn on the device. It's not like in the past when all you had to do is flip the switch. Now to get the device activated is a major, time-consuming and nerve-wracking process. To get it done, I had to call my provider, which I did. I spoke with a tech support person who kept feeding me more and more instructions. While I was receiving instructions, I kept complaining about having to do all this work. It was awful. Anyway, finally I got the new device activated. Now the next task was to get my data transferred from my old device to the new device. Now, remember, I had a lot of data stored on my old device. Text messages, music, emails, pics, and the like. So I went to one of my provider stores and asked them to transfer the data from my old phone to the new device. They told me flat out that they couldn't do it and told me to call tech support. I went back to my apartment and from there called tech support and asked them to transfer the data from my old phone to the new device. The guy I spoke with told me that I first had to be connected to Wi-Fi. I told him that I wasn't sure if I was connected to Wi-Fi. He said that nothing could be done unless I was connected to Wi-Fi. I told him that was news to me. A lot of time wasted. Next day, I called again and this time spoke with a woman. She told me I was already connected to Wi-Fi. However, she couldn't get the data transferred without accessing the special app on my old phone. I told her that my special app was not working and could not be reinstalled. Then she said that I had to scan my old phone to my new phone. I had no idea what she was talking about and told her so. By this time, I felt so frustrated and put upon that I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown. All I could think about was more time being wasted and more promises not being kept. To get through all this, I drank a pint of vodka. It worked. It helped me to pass out and put an end to my misery, at least temporarily. Finally, in desperation, the next day, I went back to the store and spoke with one of the tech support people, in this case, a young lady. First, she said the data could not be transferred. As I was preparing to leave, feeling like a first-class jerk, she said that she wanted to try one more thing. She opened a closet and took out a device. She hooked up my old phone and my new phone to the device, and maybe 15 minutes later, told me that the data was transferred. Relying on a report, I deleted all the data from my old phone. After I left the store, I discovered that some text messages and my entire music library were not transferred. I lost data. I felt totally disgusted. In fact, I seriously thought about committing suicide. The whole experience was nothing but a huge runaround, a complete waste of time, all at my expense. I tell you guys, the quality of service today stinks. Nothing but a horrible ripoff. It left me feeling totally exhausted and with an overwhelming hatred and loathing for all cell phone repair services. Since leaving that shop, every time I use my cell phone, I get this pounding headache. It's as if my cell phone is trying to dissolve my brain.
No wonder you're feeling suicidal. What you went through is enough to make anybody feel suicidal. I've lost data too. It's a horrible feeling.
You're lucky that they were able to transfer any data.
I was paying for that service, and it failed. But that doesn't surprise me. Customer service is a lost art. Nobody cares anymore.
I care.
Yeah, but you're not my cell phone provider. They need to care, and they don't.
Dave, anyone who owns a smartphone has had the exact same experience. It generates a feeling that I call post-technical distress syndrome, or PTDS.
PTDS, I like it. Is that your area of expertise?
No, I just made it up.
I don't appreciate your levity coming at my expense. I think you're laughing at me. I'm suffering, and you find it funny.
Can't you lighten up just for a moment?
No, I cannot lighten up. Everything seems to be a struggle. Nothing gets done anymore. Our quality of life is crap, and to tell you the truth, with this damn pain in my head, I don't even know if I should go on living.
What, you want to kill yourself?
Sometimes I think about what it might be like if I was dead. You know, eternal rest. My cell phone often teases me about me already being dead and not knowing it. Guys, am I dead?
Sooner or later, you're going to find out.
My friend, do not despair. Things can't be that bad.
That's easy for you to say. You're not me, and your head isn't about to explode.
We all have crosses to bear.
Now you're sounding like a priest. That's all I need.
I don't know what to tell you. You told us a story.
That you forced me to tell.
That's true. And when I try to commiserate, you want to bite my head off.
Saul, that's not quite accurate.
Thanks for speaking up for me, soldier boy. I don't know how I ever managed without you.
Now you're being sarcastic.
So be it. I'm in no mood to concern myself with your feelings.
You're being a bit selfish.
Listen to you. That's like the pot calling the kettle black. I was all set to make a move on Emily when you barged your way in and ruined it for me.
Here you are, what you ordered.
Why did it take so long?
We're busy. And besides, I noticed you guys talking and didn't want to interrupt your conversation. How's the food?
You know, I barely touched my sandwich.
Me too. Wow, we sure got into it.
Well, I hope all of you enjoy your meals.
Thank you, Emily.
You are quite welcome, Saul.
You remembered my name. For that, you'll get an extra special tip.
How about you? Ready to dig in?
Yeah. Can't wait.
Wow, why so down?
Don't ask.
She just did.
I know she did.
Dave's cell phone service company has been giving him a hard time.
Oh, that's too bad. I can't stand dealing with them. I let my husband deal with them.
Come on, Emily. You're not married. Just saying that to put us off. Admit it.
I am married. Why would I lie about such a thing?
I don't know. People lie about a lot of stuff for a lot of different reasons.
Look, I don't know who you are and how you can take it upon yourself to talk to me that way.
Sometimes a man will sound nasty to cover up the way he really feels.
More pseudo-psychological babble. What's next? A taxi ride to the psycho ward?
Look, Dave, you were the one who brought up wanting to kill yourself.
That is true.
But in all fairness to Dave, he had gone through the ringer dealing with his cell phone.
Now you're thinking about committing suicide, right? I know, I've been there too, but got over it. Are things that bad for you?
Yes, they are that bad. But none of you care. Everything I say gets twisted, blown out of proportion. Sorry I even brought up the cell phone stuff.
Oh, this is getting way too heavy for me. Anyway, enjoy your meals.
Wait, don't leave yet. I may want to order something else.
I'll make it snappy. I spent enough time here already. I have other customers to serve.
Could you please bring over the menu?
The menu is right in front of you.
So it is.
How's business tonight?
Busy as usual.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure, as long as it's not too nasty.
Did you ever do any modeling?
What are you, an artist or something?
No, actually I'm a retired heavy-duty equipment operator.
Really? Wow, that sounds cool. You operated bulldozers and cranes?
That's right, worked all over the world on construction jobs.
The only place I've ever been was St. Louis, Missouri, when I was a kid. My parents took me to visit my sick grandmother. Later on, she died.
That's too bad. Please accept my condolences.
Well, it happened years ago. I got over it, but thank you anyway.
A pretty lady like you should be in the movies.
Thank you. You have such nice things to say. Maybe we can meet again later.
Thank you too. Maybe we shall.
What are you guys jabbering about? He's nice, you're nice. You're going to meet. Who cares?
What's your beef? We're just making conversation.
You're doing more than just making conversation. Something's going on here. I see how the two of you look at each other.
If I've done anything to upset you, please accept my apology. I really want us to be friends.
Well, fellows, I need to be getting back to work. Oh, I almost forgot. You said you wanted to order something else?
Forget it, I changed my mind.
Okay. If you change your mind again, just signal me and I'll come right over. And I'm sorry you're feeling so down.
Yeah, whatever you say.
I'll tell you, Saul, I think you have a chance with her. She really seems to like you.
It's all just talk.
That's right, all talk.
How do you know that?
Because that's what she was doing. Talking. Wow, my head is beginning to hurt.
Take some more trim, that may help.
I'll dope myself up while you get laid.
What about me?
I only swing one way, pal, and not in your direction. For all I care, the two of you can have a go with her at the same time.
You are starting to sound so high and mighty, especially for a guy who got the runaround from his cell phone company.
That was just bureaucratic inefficiency, nothing personal.
When it involves people, everything is personal. I didn't like being lied to or being treated like a fool.
Yet, that's what happens. It makes me wonder why we even put up with it.
I don't know why either.
I do know why. Because people stink, that's why.
Does that include Emily?
Maybe it does.
And maybe it doesn't. I think you really have the hots for it, pal.
Maybe I do. It's all part of the courtship ritual. But whenever I begin thinking about a woman, I start hearing a loud beeping sound inside my head, almost like a siren.
You hear it now?
Not at this moment. Female always puts the male through the hoops. That's to test the male, to see if he's a worthy sexual partner.
That's a bit of a stretch to me. Humans are not animals.
With the way we act towards each other, I sometimes wonder if we're not actually lower than animals.
I noticed her first, and she picked up on it.
But she's been nicer to me.
But being nice is not the same as being turned on. When the female is ready to accept the male, she lets him know.
So, you think that this is all part of an instinctual process?
That's right. She's testing us out. Notice how she stood there, chest sticking out? You think that was accidental?
No, I guess it is not.
Maybe that's just her posture when she's standing.
You college professors have an answer for everything, don't you?
I don't know about that.
Well, I do. Sometimes their pomposity nauseates me, present company included.
No need to get insulting.
Did he hurt your feelings?
He's indicting an entire group of people. That's not fair.
It may not be fair, but it's the truth, and truth trumps fairness in my book.
You wrote a book?
Very funny, pal. That's just an expression. You know that, don't you?
Hey, I was just playing with you, trying to inject a little levity into our discussion.
I am in no mood to laugh, get it?
I get it.
Dave, I wish there was something I could say or do to lift your spirits.
Maybe buy me the winning lottery ticket or the winning ticket to a 100-to-1 long shot at the track.
Sorry, I don't gamble.
Then what good are you?
Maybe I could introduce you to my sister.
You have a sister?
Since when did you have a sister? You never mentioned her to us.
I never had any need to mention it.
I don't know about meeting your sister yet. The idea of it gives me a queasy feeling.
She's not bad looking.
That's not much of a recommendation.
You have a pic of her?
No, I don't.
So you want to set me up on a blind date? Thanks, but no thanks. I'll go with Emily. Ugh. I'm beginning to hear the sound of bells in my head.
But she's not really hot for you.
I better stop talking about Emily.
Don't worry about it, Dave. Emily's actually more interested in Saul than you.
No way. The chiming is getting louder.
That cell phone stuff really screwed up your head.
How do you know that? Are you a shrink?
No, I'm not, and you know it, so I
To
asked.
shut you up.
Let me tell you something, pal. Nobody tells me to shut up, got it?
Excuse me, shut the hell up. Is that better?
Dave, can it already? You're behaving like...
Don't you understand the noise in